than we knew yesterday when the S&Ps were 110 points higher. The war is not over. We don't see really an end in sight. We're not sure where it's going. But we do know that crude is up 10%. And that, folks, has a rippling effect on a lot of different things. So we'll talk about that a lot at the beginning of the show. We got Tesla deliveries coming up. We could talk SpaceX IPO. Lilly, Benner in the news every single day. Follow through on Nike and Restoration Hardware. Angie Setzer, 8:35. We're going to talk commodities. We're going to find out how serious the problem is getting that fertilizer over here. Synthetic Friday here, pre-market prep. Let's get it started.
The volatility right now is really incredible.
Wow, look at that consolidation on the upper right chart.
You know what we've seen this earnings season? Some of these expected moves get even more violent. This is why I have switched my strategy 10 years ago. And if you're chasing, you're in trouble.
Okay, good morning, everybody. These charts are brought to you by TradeStation Securities. Trade smarter, move faster, stay in control with a platform built for serious traders. Let Claude help you out with your trading on TradeStation platform. Well, folks, I'm going to bring my charts to the stage here, and they're not looking too good. We can look at the S&P 500 index futures. We are trading on the lows of the session, down over 110 handles, embarking on 6,500. The buck up one day, down the next day, back up to a 61 cents, a 1007. TLT hanging in there, down 0.22, 86.04. USO, I guess the best way to illustrate that would be with the pre-market and after hours chart on the left. And, oh, man, up 12 bucks, 136.13, 9.73%. Gold and silver, you can play that yo-yo market. Down today, down 3.5% is your GLD, 422.52. SLV getting pounded, down 416 at 63.98. And Bitcoin hanging in there. I guess you could say the best thing about Bitcoin is it's just kind of hanging in there between 65 and 70K, down 1,900 bucks at 66,415. Well, Dennis, I would like to say good morning, but it's not a good morning on Wall Street.
I mean, it's not a good morning for stocks, no, for sure. We had a really strong rally. We had a really strong rally over the last couple days, 250 points. And what we were saying is, I think, if you get a deal, probably S&P is going to pop 200 points in like 2 milliseconds. We did that without a deal. We did that on that, oh yeah, they're winding down and they're getting out of that. That was what, the Wall Street Journal had said. That's kind of what Trump had insinuated. He'll even pull out, if the whore moves straight, kind of leaving it up there. And then so they came in last night with the 9 o'clock speech, and I didn't know what to expect, really. I didn't think the war was over, but I thought he'd give a timeline, like saying, yeah, we're a couple more weeks and we're getting the hell out of here. And I think the market would have been fine with that. He didn't really give a definitive timeline. He talked about other wars that have taken years, and saying how quickly they're doing it here. But I mean, that didn't give us that vote of confidence that this is over or this is close to being over. And the market hated that. The market just basically said we're right back in the same situation we were 3 days ago when the SPY and the S&Ps were at, SPY was 630. So we rallied 250 points on the S&P. And we really are kind of in the same spot. So I think that's where obviously the market is disappointed. But then you see the USO. And maybe this was the tell, Joel, because the USO wasn't really selling off much on all the S&P rally. Like we were at 250 S&P handles and USO hardly sold off at all. And USO was the problem here. So now you break it out to new all-time highs, but new highs here, like I don't know if you go all-time highs, but on the USO because the damn thing is always, toxic to invest in long term. But new highs here on the move. I mean, we've said if oil sustains at these levels for a prolonged period of time, it's going to throw the economy into recession. It just can't sustain at these levels. So where do we go from here? I mean, 50% retrace the recent move, Joel, maybe on the SPY first for
I
starters.
already figured it in the
Oh yeah,
S&Ps.
bring it up here. 50%
Yeah,
retrace
I
the
mean, I
SPY.
I did.
Draw it so we can see it.
That's the first thing I did the math on.
Yeah, the 50%
Yeah, you could do
retracement of
it
the
for your
recent move.
stocks. You could do it for the SPY.
Yeah.
It comes in right at 6,500. I'll just throw it up here on the chart and show you what it is here. And no, not there. We don't want
You're
that
looking at
one.
that recent move.
We never did that retracement. What we're talking about here, folks, is we always look at counter moves, right? Nothing goes straight up or straight down, but you just had a stealth rally, right? Right there, right now, from that low at 53 and a quarter, and there was actually a 63.53 and a quarter, mind you. And you've had about a 300-point rally almost to the T. So you add 150 to that right there. If I would say, remember I said a couple days ago, it's an important day for the market. There has to be a defense here at 6,500. And there could be, very well, there could be. There's a lot of pre-market trading. A lot of things are going on, but what are the big boys doing, right? And we're not going to know until 9:30. So you can figure it.
That's it too. Like we can analyze all this action overnight and say, holy crap, this is a bloodbath. And it's ugly. I mean, in USO being up this far, it's ugly. There's no doubt stocks should be down here today. But there's been no institutional action here. They're not. Don't kid yourself. These institutions, like these institutional money managers where the big money isn't sitting here at 11 p.m. trading their accounts. They're enjoying their fam. They're sleeping. They're getting to the desk, coming back in their desk here this morning, and they're going to start trading. And that's why at 9:30 you often see things change. Now, I'm not saying things are going to change, but I'm saying if you were short, this hypothetical situation, if you were short, last week saying, yeah, we're breaking down, all technicals are breaking down. And then you have a 250 S&P point rally, on a truth, basically. I mean, you just pull back half of that now. You're probably looking like, okay, well, I want to be careful here because let's be honest. USO going straight up, you think Trump isn't waking up, looking at the oil and saying, what can I do to get that oil price back down? What can I say? So there's probably going to be another truth coming today, like maybe with a timeline and saying, just to further my conversation from last night, the war is winding down and we're going to be out of here soon. And then the algos are so stupid, they'll just believe it anyways. I think the market is stopping believing some of these truths, like the human being aspect of it, but the algos have not. The algos just, jump and they go. They see a truth. They, even like to yesterday, Joel.
Yes.
Fire comment. Which we saw in the pre-market, and we had the ridiculous pop, and then we're like, well, wait a second. I'm like, is this even bullish? Because it wasn't a ceasefire. It wasn't a comment on that. It was, and I'm forgetting it already because we get so many headlines, you get them all in there. But,
it was like there's a ceasefire when they open the Strait of Hormuz.
Yes. So they just see ceasefire and they just buy. So the algos are all like, we can say AI is going to trade this market. Maybe it's going to be smarter than me. Maybe it's going to be smarter than you, Joel. But I can tell you right now, with 100% certainty, it is not right now. The algos are absolutely stupid. Every time they've bought on these Trump truths, it has been another selling opportunity. And really, the last 3 days, it's nothing different. We bought it all up in the hopes that this war is going to end soon, and now we don't have a definitive timeline coming out from a 20-minute speech last night. I mean, he said a whole lot of nothing new last night. There was nothing new said. It wasn't like, whoa, I didn't see that coming. It was just like, well, he didn't say anything about, like this 2 to 3 week timeline anymore, that you've been, talking about here. I didn't hear that. Maybe I missed it. But the market's not liking that. So bottom line is he's going to truth something again. It's probably going to be another bounce. Maybe it's the bounce to sell. Every time he's truth something, it's been a bounce to sell. But the market is maybe the one issue he would have is he's truths so much that the reactions aren't as big as they were in the past. And you could get to a point where the market starts ignoring it. And if that happens, then we got problems. If the market starts ignoring, the truth bombs, to get the market to go higher, then we would have problems. That could come. Like, it's like, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, fool me 10 times, which every time you've truthed about, the war almost being over, we've won the war. How many times they say we've won the war? Even in the speech last night, we've won the war. Well, why are we still over? Why is the U.S. still over there if we've won the war? No, lots to think about here.
A couple things here just from like the markets and market like the rally that we had, those weren't good rallies. Those were fluff rallies. They were short covering rallies. They weren't, they weren't big boys digging in with big positions. So this is an opportunity for the bulls to step up and say everything's going to be okay. And we're going to put a couple lows into the same area, and we're going to calm down. Right now, just from the trading action from Monday and Tuesday, I mean, you can lead. I mean, if you're leaning on the lows from Monday, you're leaning pretty low. So that the risk reward ratios are not set up. We need to see, if anything, a little bit of stability. And
You're not going to get any stability.
There's no
We're going to
stability.
have more truths coming out. We're going to have more reps. I mean, but, bottom line is there's just so much uncertainty out here. Uncertainty with the war, which is number one, uncertainty where oil prices are going, uncertainty where the Fed is going, and the main one, uncertainty with where AI is going. There's a hell of a lot of uncertainty. So I still think we're in a situation where you're lightening up on rips. And we had a hell of a rip the last 3 days. And, that's why we were saying SDN. I sold, some of my meta. I should have sold it all. I sold my Cisco position yesterday, long-term account. And I sold something else, the DXYZ thing. And, and I bought some XLU, which is playing a little more defense. So just a little bit of shuffling in the long-term portfolio saying, there's a lot of unknowns. I mean, it's not just the war, folks. We can blame the war for all of this, but there are other things happening here. I mean, AI disruption is real. Jobs are going to be real. Just like I said, talking with my software friend, that works for a large software company and saying they're firing people every day. I mean, we hear Oracle layoffs coming. The second half, once we get past this war, when we get to the end of this year, we're going to start seeing it's a jobs issue all of a sudden. That's what's going to be the real problem. So, I mean, you've got the war, which is a temporary displacement. We hope, but maybe oil settles higher, which is scary in itself. So none of this is good. But then longer term, you've got to have a jobs issue here. That's scary too. So I just think being fully in on this market is not prudent.
Dennis, you've always been, much better than me at assessing the market and trying not to get too over bullish or too over bearish, right?
Yeah.
And when I tend to get, carried away, not so much on the upside, but always fearing for the downside.
Yeah.
What the things that you're just saying, about the war, about the jobs, about AI. I mean, give me something to think that the levels that we saw in the S&P and the levels we've seen in the Qs and the level we've seen in these tech stocks might not be, why they won't be the highs for the next 5 to 10 years.
Well, I'm never going to go 5 to 10 years. But what I would say is we've been in a relentless bull market. Bring up the long-term SPY
Okay,
chart, just to give perspective here. So I'll add on to your argument here. I mean, we've been in a bull market we've been in a bull market. We've had periods of bearishness, 2022, but we have not had a prolonged bear market for 17 years. We have not had a prolonged bear market. I'm bringing up your charts here now because we took them off the screen.
Okay.
Where is the dip? I mean, really, when you're thinking about this is what's happened. Like you have we've had periods in time, believe it or not. I know people don't like history, but from 1968 to 1980, the Dow hit 1,000. I believe it was in 1968, never revisited till 1980, 12 years of no gains. From the period of 1999, 2000, the March 2000 top, to the period of 2000 and basically 14 or 15, we had a lot of stocks go nowhere. There was a 10 to 12 year period there where stocks really didn't go anywhere. So what we often see is these 10-year periods where stocks stabilize. Then we have huge run-ups. Then we have periods where we stabilize and we have huge run-ups. I mean, we've been on the huge run-up for 17 years, folks, 17 years. We are at 666 S&P. We've went up 1,000% in 17 years, basically. That's a lot, man. So when you're thinking about where's growth continue to come from, that's a bigger question here. But there's so much uncertainty. I'm not saying we sell everything and we, Katie bar the door and the party is over. But I'm saying if you're coming here and buying a 5% dip on the S&P and saying, yeah, I don't care about the war, I don't care about AI, just no stocks going back to all-time highs, we don't know anything.
Okay.
I
I
can't
mean,
say with certainty where stock's going to go because I can't answer the basic question of whether AI is good for the stock market or bad for the stock market. If you can't answer that basic question, you got to be careful. Like, I believe in investing in AI stocks because I think that's going to happen. I don't know overall what it means, because if AI starts killing jobs left, right, and center, this whole economy is in trouble. So Kramer better be right that AI creates as many jobs as it destroys. Because if he's not, this market's in a whole lot of trouble.
okay. I mean, I did. This is the SPY, the monthly, right? And I look at 50% retracements from the COVID low, and I look at that all time high, and that that takes us back. And I won't make my target 458 in the SPI, but that would be a 50% retracement of that entire move. Also, I could probably make this trend line a little bit cuter here, a little bit tighter, but
I like
there's a
cute trend lines.
the trend line coming off the COVID low. But I think the thing that I want to point out is, we look at candles. We're not the super chartist people, but a red candle is a red candle, right? A thick red candle.
Sure.
That's what you got. That's what you
That
got.
could be the start of something bad.
Yes.
It could be.
Yes.
I think we're just in a market where risk reward doesn't set up great.
Okay.
Like, we may come back to all-time highs on efficiency. Like, the bull case is, here's the bull case, because there's two scenarios. War ends, oil prices come back in, and AI efficiency trades, people, get applauding that all these job losses are happening and they're going to be able to make more money, these companies, take us to new all-time highs. That's the bull case. The bear case is the war is a lot longer than we think it's going to be. Oil prices stay elevated even if the US pulls out, and AI starts killing a lot of jobs. That's a scenario where the markets are in trouble. So those are the two scenarios really on the table. And I mean, nobody has the answer for any of this. So I don't care if you have the market guru, I don't care if you have 100% win rate, because everybody says, oh, I got a 100% win rate. I only win on trades. I never sell at a loss. I don't care about any of that. I don't care if you're the best market like caller in the whole world. It's not about that, because you know what? Nobody can call where AI is going here. Nobody knows where AI is going. AI doesn't even know where AI is going. We don't know where this is going. We do know that the war will eventually end, but I don't know that oil doesn't stabilize higher.
That's
because
the
good
thing.
arguments here too is
Yeah.
we consider, energy. AI needs energy. Well, hell, oil is still driver of energy as well. So, I mean, maybe, the whole let's just forget about oil thing, wasn't that smart in a world that's going to need AI anyways. I mean, oil was going up before the war started, Joel. USO had went from 65 to 80 just on more of, not about the war, more on we need more energy. Oil's energy as well. There's a lot of things to chew on here. We're not
And the
going to
higher
solve
it
those
goes,
problems
the higher
today,
this
but
oil
what we want
goes.
to tell you is it's not ensured that we just fly back to all-time highs.
I mean, I'm not even thinking about us going back to all-time highs for, I don't know. I don't want to
There's a
go
lot
too
of
far
uncertainty.
out. I don't
We'll
want to
just
go
say
too
lots
far
of
out, because I've been wrong. I've been wrong before, right?
Wrong all the time. I'm wrong every day. I'm wrong every day. And you know what? It's okay to be wrong. It's not okay to stay wrong. Let's go to some individual stock
I
news
just want to
here.
say one thing about the
Go.
higher the USO goes, that means when it does come back down, that's it. It's gonna stabilize at a higher price.
Probably that's a problem.
That's a problem. Okay,
That's a problem.
stocks.
It's a problem for Trump too with the midterms, and he knows it. That's why he's trying to bring oil price back down. He's screwed up majorly here. But I mean, his voter doesn't drive a lot of EVs. They're like more like gas guzzling, and they look at the pumps and they're pissed off. He's made a lot of people mad when they look at the pumps. And I mean, this is the least of our problems, is like the gas prices being too high. But this has made a lot of people upset. From his voter base, a lot of people are upset with higher gas prices.
Well, you know who's not? The owner of an EV. So thank you.
Good job, Joel.
I just blow right by that gas station.
Don't need it.
I don't need your stinking.
Well, I mean, go to Tesla. Go to the conversations. Take it to that, because Tesla should be in this environment with oil flying. Tesla should be flying as well, but it is not. It is not for a number of reasons. But I mean, obviously, maybe if the economy's in trouble, people aren't just buying new cars. But, really, like if oil is going to stay elevated here, this is good for the EV market. We're going to get Tesla deliveries here at 9 p.m., 9 a.m. Getting my nights and days mixed up because I'm up all night trading. But, at 9 a.m., we're going to get Tesla deliveries. There's also rumors still flying that SpaceX has confidentially filed for an IPO. The rumors are still there. I said it yesterday that Elon Musk may potentially give Tesla shareholders a chance to participate in the IPO. These are all positive catalysts. Now, I don't think the delivery numbers are going to be great. Maybe they are, but the market environment with oil flying you're in should be good for EV makers. So that's something to consider. Every time Tesla dips on bad numbers, it just seems like a buying opportunity. But we're in a tough market right now. So I don't know. What do you think on the technicals on Tesla?
Tesla, let me see. I mean, you could do what I'm just going to, people are going to get tired of hearing this, but I mean, you felt sellers out there yesterday. I mean, I know it had some pause, but you just felt like a different, really above 383. Actually, that put in, there was nothing at 383, but so your next daily low is below 374. Your next daily low is 361. Do I think it's going to 361 today? No. I mean, unless the market totally collapses. But what did you have? The low there?
Well, it's got numbers, so it could go to 351. You mean 351?
Yeah, you could. Yeah, yep.
You can see it
had
on the
about
numbers.
a 30
That's a good
point.
level.
I like 360s. I mean, if 360, I like 367.
You mean 351, right?
Yeah, I meant 351. The low of the move was 352.14. It was about a $30 rally. You know me. I like 367. If I had to throw a number out there on the downside, if I got caught short in this or I thought Tesla was taking a major bottom in, I'd let them whack my bid at 367 and say, hey, okay, that's a 50% retracement of this move, a little bit of pullback. And I think that's sympathetic, of the market. I think that's for all your stocks because Monday's lows are so low that if you're leaning on them or you're waiting to react, maybe you will get them. I just don't think you're going to get them today. I
don't think so either. But again, Tesla's numbers, so that doesn't mean Tesla can't get them today. And again, we're in a sell the rip market. So unfortunately for Tesla shareholders and for every shareholder of every stock here right now, when we're getting reps on everything, it's been the easiest trade that's been out there. I had a pretty good month trading, posted my results. It was up 3.7% or something in the trading account last month. And I mean, it's just selling reps. Blindly selling rips has really been the best strategy. What are you making so much money in? Mostly just shorting rips because it's just been working. I mean, even yesterday during the show, I get picked off on a whole bunch of stuff, sold. And I'm like, I bring it up and I'm already the stocks were up there for 1 second. So, I mean, the rips just aren't holding. And that's what a bear market's all about, folks. We've been talking about this bear market for a while here. And the media won't say bear market until the market's down 20%, which, again, is the stupidest thing I've ever maybe been invented because we can see what bear market tendencies are. Rips all get sold. Stocks are sold on good news, trending lower. All these are characteristics of bear markets, which we've been in for a couple months here now. It didn't just start with the war. Been in a bear market for, basically the entire year of 2026. It started, obviously with software names and AI disruption, and now it's just kind of moved across the board. But, I mean, what do you do in bear markets? You sell rips. That's what's working.
A very good question here coming from Mathow27, trying to time my short just right. When's Joel's next day off?
That's true.
Well,
the market, Joel, goes away and the markets fall apart. When is your next day off?
Well, let's dissect the situation. Okay. Yeah. We don't know. Because if Michigan wins on Saturday,
Joel,
then the championship game is Monday night, and I'm going to be in Indy.
You're going to miss it.
I'm going to miss it. And then I'm driving back on Tuesday.
So we could have the Monday of if Michigan wins.
Yes.
This could be Black Monday.
That's bearish. Yes.
If Michigan wins on Saturday, we could have Black Monday. So if you're in the stock market, you better take and watch that Michigan game because every time Joel misses a day, the markets crash. It's his liquidity that he's not providing out there. He owns every stock in the whole index here.
Yeah, it's a little bit worrisome.
He owns 150 stocks.
But we got to put this up here. The content contained in this presentation is for informational purposes.
Keep that out there.
It may not be suitable for you.
Wins.
If you
I'm
watch
cheering for Michigan too.
if you watch this show, you should probably be checking your mental health status. But
Go
yeah,
to some good news here. GSAT, your big
okay,
winner
which
of the day, up 11%. It was up 25% last night, but Trump talked and everything backed off. So we have rumors here that GSAT, the rumors is that Amazon, from Financial Times, Amazon is in talks to buy GSAT. GSAT has kind of been in the rumor mill before, but I don't know if it's been with Amazon. So it would be a $9 billion deal to rival SpaceX's Starlink. That's rumors. Stock is holding up fairly well this morning, but we hit like $88 last night. Like when your stock pops 25% on a rumor, you sell it. It's just too much. It's too much. But now it's pulled back here, 11. Now it's not as bad. So people are coming in here and saying, "Yeah, I pay up 11%. Amazon's snooping around here. Maybe there's a possibility here." But this had a lot of those satellite stocks all popping last night. IRDM was trading up. It's a pure play. Was trading up
yeah,
$3 last night. It's giving it back thanks to the Trump speech. But you can see the big pop in that one last night too. SATS was another one, was trading up last night. Hell, even ASTS and RKLB were trading up last night on this. They've all given it back thanks to the Trump speech. So the Trump speech harpooned all this
yeah.
stuff. But going back there, GSAT,
Okay.
thoughts here, Joel, deal or no deal? I mean, that is the question. Amazon's bought stuff before.
Wow. Is this the marketing? I'm not a big believer in this one right now. I mean, yeah, maybe.
Not the market to
I just
speculate on
don't think
deals.
that this is the market environment. I mean, if you're looking at stocks that are doing deals, except for Lilly, I don't know how Lilly escaped all this, but Estee Slaughter,
Lilly is just forgiven for everything. It trades with the highest multiple. Novo has, the shots, everything too, and they just hate that one. They love you or they hate you, and that's just what it is. And if you're in the hated list, man, it's hard to get off the hated list. And if you're in the loved list, well, you're on the loved list for a very long time here too. Yes, the weight loss drug got approval yesterday. Lilly popped up with that. I mean, big, but we knew it's going to get approved. I mean, it just approved Novos. They're going to approve Lilly's too. So we knew this was coming. This wasn't unexpected. But Lilly gets a huge pop the last couple days too. I don't get the 35 times earnings, on Lilly. Obviously, they make a lot of money here. The weight loss drugs have been fantastic, but I don't know. In this market here, am I buying Lilly after just right 100 points in 3 days? No, it's a sell the rep market we just said, so I'd sell Lilly too.
yeah, Lilly didn't quite had the big red candle, probably attributed to the market. So I'll give you a zone here. Just call it 980, and now we're $35 away from that. So first things first, if you're a Lilly trader, based on all the circumstances being equal, if you get a look at that close today, 954.52, I think that would be only $10 away. So, a lot of times too, Dennis, and you probably know better than anybody else because you're trying to exit a lot of positions off the open and stuff. I mean, we always get that opening, even in these bad down days, that sympathy pop, is like, yeah, I'm buying the dip. Or today
Sure.
you have people that maybe shorted the close yesterday and they're only looking for 100 handles in the S&Ps, and this is their target, going to wait off the open. So I wouldn't be surprised to maybe see the mark on some of the, I mean, I don't know about Meta seeing the mark. Tesla is a wild card, but on a day like today, yesterday's low, the previous day's low was a good number because we're so far through that, and also the mark. So that's what I'll be looking at in Lilly. We're going to be joined by Angie Setzer, Consus AG, because we are going to talk about the agricultural futures. That's another problem,
Oh, see
right?
what the war trade's doing
Yeah.
over there too.
Yep.
Fertilizer look like.
Yeah. I tried to.
Let's go.
Where do you
Let's
want
go
to go?
Nike. They want to talk Nike. Got no bounce yesterday. Like, I've hated the stock forever, and I'm going to continue to hate on this stock even as it's making new lows. Do I sell them in the hole? You usually get bounces, but man, you're playing this for a bounce. Even last night, you're like, do you want to do Nike for a dead
Yeah,
cat bounce?
exactly.
Like,
I want to talk about that because
nope.
part of our I'm filling in for Brent this week because he's taking some vacation. But on the closing print on the Stock Trader Network from 3:30 to 5, besides Dennis gauging the imbalances, two popular strategies. It's the dead cat bounce,
It works
or
a lot of
just
times.
or just like sell the rip, okay? And if you're in the chat and you want them to look, a lot of times Dennis will look at a doc, throw a random stock out there, and they'll go, "Yeah, I'll try it."
Oh yeah, you throw it in the chat and give me a good argument, like a half even. It's like kind of an argument. Here, I'll do it. I try everything. What I've always said, I don't know if I've ever said this on the show, but I've said this before. I've traded for 27 years professionally. I've made millions of physical trades, like point and click millions of trades, and I did the high frequency stuff back in 2005 to 2010 as well. But I mean, I've done, a lot of trading. I really, truly believe that I do well in my trading account just because I'm good at trading. Meaning, like, you put me in a trade, I can find my way out to like minimize the damage. And, I'm pretty good at like, doing decent on, the upside of it too. So I think if you're just a good trader, the more you trade, the more you make. I really believe that. So I think it's not just totally about like, the cleanest setup. I mean, good traders can hit the pitch in the dirt sometimes too. So, I mean, there's great traders listen to this show, great traders in our room, and they're throwing out ideas. And I'm like, I believe in a lot of the people that are in our room as well, throwing great ideas out there. So I try them too. And you know what? A lot of times those work as well. So I just think if you're just good at trading, the more you trade, the more you make. So that's why I'm a big fan of like, give me a good argument here and I'll try that trade. I'll try that trade. And that's what we are. We're a think tank. We're just trying different trades.
You didn't like my argument. There was a buy imbalance too or whatever, and it didn't track it. Actually, there was 2 million to buy, and you go, well, let's see. And then right away it was like only 1 million to buy, and then I think it was like 500,000 to buy, and it paired off.
Saying, I'll sell that. Institutes say, I'll sell that. I'll sell that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what starts happening.
So I don't know what to say about Nike here. You're trading again. I mean, we got to wait
for make a new low. You got to go. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. Dennis, I've heard you say you've taken a $10 loss on a trade and you're like, that was a great trade. That was a really good trade because it's down 30 or 40. I don't even know.
I mean, if you sell something, you save yourself a whole pile. Some of my best trades are losing trades. If you save yourself a pile of money because, you're like, oh, I'm going to eat that loss and move on. I mean, that's a good trade. I mean, even my Meta sale from yesterday, I'm down like 30 points from where I bought Meta. But I'm like, sell it yesterday. I'm like, yeah, that was actually a good sale. So you don't have to make money to have a good trade. It's just if it's stock goes, you sell it and stock goes down afterwards, it's a good trade.
41.93 back in October of 2014 is the next level. So let's just round it off to $42. And then if we're staying on disaster, let's go to RH. RH is off the low of the day. It actually had a green candle, so a little bit more.
I mean, stocks are just in trouble. I mean, RH doesn't make any sense at all for anyone. It never did. So I just in this economy, you're going south here in the economy here.
Oh, did you
want to buy high-end furniture stores?
Look what the CEO said.
What works in a recession? I'm not saying we're going to a recession, but if oil stays elevated for a prolonged period of time, it's going to be inevitable. What works is like defensive stuff, like the Costco's and people go in there and they say, bulk up here.
Look at that.
I go to Costco, the loaf of bread, I buy that Dempster's loaves of bread or whatever, and it's like $4 at the grocery store. I go to Costco, it's $7.50 for 3 loaves, the same bread. So, I mean, you get basically a loaf and a half almost for free. So, if you can't eat 3 loaves of bread, throw one in the freezer and then you got the 2. But people will do this. This is what works, in times of like struggle. And I mean, a lot of people have been struggling for a long time here. It hasn't been good times with the stock market. Well, wealth effect has been good. If the wealth effect starts to hit people where it's like, I don't feel as wealthy all of a sudden, so I'm not going to go and, buy my brand new car and I'm not going to go. That shows up at stuff like RH first. This wealth effect hits RH first. I don't feel as wealthy. I'm not going and buying a $10,000 sofa. Everybody yelled at me yesterday for calling it a couch, but they said it's called a sofa. Fancy sofa. It's a couch. $10,000 couch.
Gary Friedman, RH CEO, warned of the most dire housing market in decades, citing global tensions, tariffs, and economic uncertainty.
It's real bad. So the CEO and the housing market, and this is it. What do you do? I know, I built a house. What do you do after you buy a house? You go to the furniture stores and you buy furniture for the house. You don't build a brand new house. and put your old furniture in it. Not if you can, some people do, but I mean, a nice new house and you put 20-year-old couch in there. I mean, maybe you slowly do it, but a lot of times people go in and they're like, no, I budgeted for new furniture too, and I'm getting all new furniture, all new appliances, all new everything. That's, Whirlpool. Look at Whirlpool. We haven't even talked about it here. The housing market's in trouble. Whirlpool is a housing market stock. It's directly related to the housing market. This thing has been freaking hammered. It's got a 6.6% dividend here now. If you want to look any further, what's been hit hard from the housing market here? Lennar, KB Homes, look at Whirlpool. Because you know what? The first thing you do when you buy a build a new house is you go get new appliances.
What's the Shark Ninja symbol?
SN.
How's that doing?
It's okay.
Okay.
I mean, it's a vacuum cleaner. It's not always a new house purchase. You need a vacuum for your new house, but you also need a vacuum for your old house. Okay. Shark Ninja, the best thing that happened to Shark Ninja was iRobot not getting taken over by Amazon. That was their best thing. They were worried about, the monopoly of iRobot. And iRobot, like later on just goes belly up thanks to, regulatory concerns about antitrust. Now we just stuck with Shark Ninja. It's the same thing.
Okay, let's go
Amazon
to our guest.
Shark Ninja now.
Let's go to our guest, Angie. Good morning. That smiling face, that's Angie Setzer from Consus AI. Angie, how you doing today?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. A great follow on Twitter. Very funny. The goddess of grain. Angie, let's go back and talk about the war in Ukraine. Remember when it started? And
I
called Angie and I said, Angie, what about wheat prices? I am worried about wheat. I'm worried about eating. And she said, Joel, don't worry. Don't worry. This is a temporary thing. You don't need to run out to the store and buy, a bunch of bread. It's going to be fine. Okay? You were right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. It's nice to be told I'm right in grains and things. It's not often, it feels like most time.
So I got a new scenario for you. It's a war.
Yeah.
And there's fertilizer coming through the Straits, or lack of fertilizer here coming through the Straits of Hormuz. And it's planting season.
Yes.
Okay. So tell me again that everything's going to be fine.
I can tell you, at least in North America right now, to get started, everything is going to be fine. The majority of your fertilizer needs, at least to get the wheat crop to finish, the majority of the winter wheat crop, that is, and the corn crop started, we have access to. I can tell you with great confidence that we will produce crops, here in the Northern Hemisphere as long as weather cooperates. I can't speak for Mother Nature. We definitely have some really dry conditions and some worrisome conditions out there that could prove to be problematic. But when looking, specifically at fertilizer needs here in the short term over the next 2-3 months, whatever that may be, across a good portion of North America, we are going to be okay. Maybe expensive. It may squeeze farmer margins, but they're going to work to plant the crop if they have the ability to do so.
Okay, so looking at the wheat, did you want to hop in here,
Yeah,
Dennis?
do they have enough, like the fertilizer situation here, which, we've obviously seen stocks like CF, explode higher. Mosaic is, coming back here now too. I mean, is this a real concern here? Is this a temporary, thing? Like, what if, let's say the Strait of Hormuz stays closed for a prolonged period of time, like into the summer, and we can't get fertilizer coming through here? What does that mean?
It's a big deal. I mean, in North America, it remains somewhat isolated again. Like, it's similar. It's like when Joel and I talked, before. One of the things that made America, oh God, I don't even want to say great in that regard, but that is what helped build us and make us into the the powerhouse that we were is that we have so many natural resources, the ability to produce our own food. A lot of our nitrogen that is used in the U.S. is produced here, or here in the in North America anyway, I should say. And we don't have the large amount of imported product, though. You do see, rising tides raise all ships. You have the rest of the world that's going to be increasing their prices and things like that. There comes a point in time when these companies have to make decisions. Do we keep that product here? Do we cut our nose off I don't want to say to spite our face, but do we sell it for cheaper? Do we have to? Do we see the government step in and maybe do that? And so, overall, like short-term wise here going into this spring right now, do I have massive concerns for the North America, U.S. corn and wheat crop? No, I think you will see a trim in production. I think you will see a shift in acres, a little bit less corn acres planted than what the USDA just said we'd see. Those types of things. My biggest concern is the Southern Hemisphere. Like you just said, if this continues into the summer, what does that look like, for Brazil, who imports a significant amount of their diesel and a significant amount of their fertilizer? What does it look like for Argentina, who imports something like 80% of their urea, and they're going to be needing to make those decisions very soon? Australia's got some problems there. They're importing supply, yeah, but prices are different. Prices are rising. And the biggest thing in physical commodities that you're constantly concerned with is not necessarily what I can sell this bushel or this ton for, or what I can buy it for. It's what does the next one cost? If I sell this today, if I sell this ton of fertilizer today for X amount of dollars, yeah, I've got margin in that. That's great. But what does my next one cost to replace it? And so if this situation, remains as it is, and I unfortunately, at this point, I don't necessarily see it just resolving itself in the next even 2 to 3 weeks. This is something that's going to be a big deal long term. Specifically, we'll start to see it show up in the 2027 wheat values and wheat plans. That'll be the first thing that you'll see. And South America, soybean and corn production here once we get into this fall.
Okay. So, are there other factors Donna's asking here in the replacement cost here? You have the fertilizer, you have labor, which is, I don't know how the labor situation. So those are the main things, correct?
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at your replacement costs, what it's going to cost to grab your next bushel, ton of fertilizer, whatever that may be. And then you have your energy costs, of course, kind of factored into that as well, more than anything. And it shows up more, at the farm gate when it comes to more expensive freight costs to get your bushels from the farm to the end user, or from the elevator to the exporter, or the exporter to the end user in a different country. Like you're definitely seeing the spike in fuel costs, energy costs also impact farmers here, all over the world.
So how are the farmers? They look forward, right? They're long. They have the crops, right? So the war, when it broke out, how are they positioning? And now your phone, you must have like 10 phones ringing right now, just going up. Angie, what do I do?
What do we do?
July? What do I do in August? What do I do? I can't believe I'm seeing these prices. I haven't seen these prices in a long time. I got to lock it in. Or you're saying, hey, let's just sit tight and see how the situation. We'll do this in a scenario of wheat, and then people also want us to cover corn and soybeans.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first time we've seen the wheat price rise to above $6 on the front month since like last May, I think it was. And so we definitely, the month of March has been probably one of the busiest months I've had. Honestly, in a couple of years, in a year and a half, maybe. It's been a long time since we've seen, probably honestly, Joel, since the invasion of Ukraine there, that we saw soybeans, corn, and wheat all jump significantly higher, kind of in tandem as they did. And so, yeah, I mean, it was one of those where, my job, I'm a consultant. I work with farmers when it comes to determining how and when to sell their physical bushels, how to turn their bushels into cash. And so we've been through some pretty rough times here. I mean, a lot of folks were looking at wheat that they were, potentially pricing at sub $5. Cost of production's above $7. So we're still not overly excited in some regard, but it was one of those situations there where we began to look at wheat. We had a lot of folks work to clean up what we call old crop, which was stuff that was produced last year, started to sell new crop, which is stuff that's in the ground currently right now that'll be harvested this summer. And we even started looking at July 2027 because historically Chicago wheat above 650 is a good place for a farmer to start selling. I still am quite optimistic on price. I still think we have to really put some incentive out there to make sure that folks who are also facing El Nino, mind you, we're talking about El Nino coming in later this summer that's really going to impact Australia, parts of South America, Southeast Asia, and things like that. Like, you're going to have to convince these folks that, they're also going to plant a crop into what could be poor conditions. And so, yeah, farmers have to incrementally sell. I have growers that produce over 1 million bushels of corn on one farm, and we make 100,000 bushel incremental sales as the market gives us that opportunity. And so, yeah, you have seen farmers turning bushels into cash for sure. It's still not the greatest. Like, we're still not doing cartwheels over prices because margins are squeezed and look like they're going to continue to be squeezed as the cost of inputs rise. But it's been a very active time on the farm for farmers trying to make some sales.
Okay, that's
go ahead, Joel. Ask input costs.
Yeah. We were just going back real quick before we go to corn. We talked about the input costs, and we mentioned fuel and the diesel fuel and the transportation. Do you have a rough idea what percentage fuel is of farmers' input costs?
Less than 10%.
Okay, so it's not significant. Like, the diesel being up as high as it is not going to really impact
It hurts. Obviously, it's another margin squeeze, but it's not the margin squeeze that fertilizer or rising. Like, if you couldn't get a hold of certain fungicides or herbicides or whatever, that would be the problem.
Okay, let's talk about the corn market. Someone was also asking about, corn being used in ethanol here. Corn, a nice weekly winning streak here, basis the ETF, but just hitting a brick wall just under $19. In fact, you haven't even got to that level yet. How are things looking for corn farmers? Are they gonna do any of these crops require less fertilizer? And maybe you say, hey, maybe I'll grow a little bit more corn over here and less soybeans. Talk about the corn market.
No, just the opposite. Honestly, with the fertilizer costs as high as what they are, there are places that we can trim corners. We have NPK is what they say. Your nitrogen, your phosphates, your whatever, your potassium. You guys tell. I'm not an agronomist, but on the P and the K, you can trim back is what they say. Like, you can do different things to kind of back that off. The nitrogen is the one that you can't. And nitrogen is something that we definitely need both when you plant corn, when you have side dress season. There's a lot of folks out there that'll do 2-3 applications. Like, there's a reason that our corn yield has grown as it has. Like, if you look at corn yield, when I first started, 150 some bushel to the acre national average yield was amazing. In 20 some years, we've made it 180. I think we were 186 last year. Part of that is because we figured out that if you really pour the nitrogen to it and do all kinds of different things, that you can produce a really, really large crop. Corn is a very labor intensive, cost intensive crop. But you can put a lot of money into it and get good reward. You can make money to do what you need to on that side. However, having said all of that, like I said before, corn is one of those crops that also needs to be planted into reasonably decent conditions. You don't want to be too dry. You want to be dry, but not too dry. You want to be, damp, but not too wet, those types of things. And so we have a couple different problems on the horizon potentially for corn. You're looking at 75%, I think it is, of the corn belt that's dealing with drought conditions currently. You've got a lot of factors that play on that side. And so, the most recent USDA number kind of set corn back a little bit. We did see a higher acreage number than what trade was anticipating. That wasn't overly surprising to me. I think farmers were intending to keep their corn acres high before the war took place, before soybeans rallied as we worked our way through February into March. And so, from an overall standpoint, we're going to get corn. We're going to have a decent corn crop, or we're going to have a decent baseline of acres. Weather is going to be the dominating factor. But the biggest thing I would say in corn is that we have massive demand. And when it comes down to it, there's a lot of folks out there right now that are like, oh, we're the RFS is farmer welfare or whatever that might be. We're blending 10% of ethanol into our fuel supply as a replacement for the MTBE. It's an oxygenate. It's something that we're using that isn't just like forced. We're not forced. We initially, yes, in 2006 when the RFS was first introduced, we were kind of forced to figure out a place to put ethanol. But then once we removed the MTBE, you've got that 10% baseline anyway that we're looking at. And when it comes to a production really above that little blend wall that we seem to be running into here domestically, we're seeing massive exports. So like the EU, even Brazil is buying ethanol from the US here recently. Like we've got some massive demand for corn overall, and we really need to produce a crop both here and in South America to kind of supply the world.
Okay, Angie Setzer, Consus AI, giving us a good look. Good thing to know. Once again, reassurance coming from Angie. Angie, thank you again for coming on the show. We'll be down you up again real soon. Got us some great on Twitter, folks. Give her a follow. She's a very, very fun person to follow.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Okay. Well, what we don't need
we don't need credit concerns. We don't need credit concerns. Blue Owl reveals that they had higher than usual redemption requests. They are limiting, unfortunately, thank you, Michael Fian, for watching the Newswire in the background. Blue Owl limits redemptions on private credit after massive exit requests. Higher than usual requests, heightened market concerns around AI-related disruption to software companies. This has been just a disaster for the last 2 months. Blue Owl's dividend now at these current prices
20%.
is 11.35%. Whenever you see stocks that have 11% dividends, they got major problems. So Blue Owl, it's been around a long time. Blue Owl Capital, $26 beginning of 2025. It's $8 here now. This is also hitting not just Blue Owl, unfortunately. KKR, these are obviously your private credit companies. BX, ARES, all down significantly this morning. All are in bad bear markets. All are in significant downtrends. And the last thing we need to think about is, credit problems here now. Like this is something that's not even on the radar, not even mentioned in one of my big 3 worries here. But this is something that is happening here because all these other things lead to these problems. So AI disruption, higher fuel prices, higher oil, all lead to people having less money and problems ahead. So none of these stocks doing very well this morning.
Folks, tomorrow the markets, just real quick, they are closed. But the futures will be open at 6 o'clock tonight. And I believe when I looked on the site, the futures will be open until 9:15 a.m. tomorrow. So what you'll see is the market trade tonight, the digestion from the jobs number, which it's been holding up. I mean, it's going to be further on down the road. And But stock market is closed tomorrow. So keep that in mind. Now, I'm looking at a little, I want to try and give you guys something positive here. And
Please.
as oil continues to grind higher, the market has gotten the lift of 20 handles.
A little bit. USO, last night was 129. It's 139 now. I'm like, holy. I'm like, this is getting serious, folks. And Trump is sitting here on his phone looking at the price of oil and trying to figure out what he can do to get it to come back down immediately because he didn't like seeing this happen. This is like killing. Like if they want to win the midterms, if Trump really wants to win the midterms, he's got to get oil prices to come down because if oil stays up here, he is 100% losing the midterms. I know it's like 80% or something, right? It's 100% if oil stays up here. So he's got to get oil prices to come back down. So he's got to be thinking about like, crap, man, this speech didn't work. What do we do now? I noticed it was funny. Besant was doing damage control after the speech, like 3 hours after the speech last night, like at midnight. Besant throws out a tweet talking about, we've gone so far, the timelines are still going to be, we're going to be out of there real soon. We've accomplished almost everything. That's what's probably going to come from the True Social account here today, too. We've come a long ways. We're getting out of here real soon. It's going to be like a week or two, and we're going to be out, and then, we get a pop. I think that's probably going to happen. So there's a risk to short here. There's a risk for shorts here.
I know. You said that the last couple of days, Dennis, but I don't want you staying up at midnight Okay, you got to go to.
Stop looking at my Twitter account at midnight.
Yes,
and,
yes,
reading
yes.
Besson tweets.
I just want to make this, because we're trying to, give approaches to the market. And I know I was dead wrong on the Nike, but I was thinking, and I don't know if it would have worked off the close, but the oils were hammered yesterday and they're bouncing back today. So I think today is, and I would look at these stocks. Actually, someone, said, hey, this is an important day for the oils. And I would too. And I would look at this Exxon Mobil. And I would say you hit, because this was a reversal day. That was a couple days ago. Then you had follow through. What I'd be looking at if I was, I have ConocoPhillips, but I'm not going to be selling it. I'm not worried about it. Can you get halfway back? That's a big break. That's the 167 area. 168 was yesterday's high. You haven't hit that in the pre-market. Look at that. Look at your all-time high mark in those stocks as well. So big rebound day, but market is trying to get off the mat here as there seems to be just an endless bid in the USO.
It's endless
futures.
bid. Now, remember, we have seen days where USO goes up substantially, then oil leaks after the open here because oil stocks are not priced just on the current price of oil. They're priced on future expectations of oil as well. So, I mean, we still expect oil prices to eventually come in a bit here. So I see the big pops and all these. I think you're getting another shot in Oxy today. I hate Oxy. I mean, I think if you've been in Oxy this whole time on the Warren Buffett trade and saying this is my time to really start making the money, I think this is the time to really start getting your money back. Oxy, Buffett's probably in from about $65. He bought a pile up there. We know 60.
Nah, he bought some lower too. I
don't know if he did much.
Yeah.
Some maybe. He had really loaded her up around 62.
Well, he started,
really loaded it
and we
around
argue
62.
about this every time. But
well, the good news is we have like Gemini, so they could probably go look at the insider reports and add it all up for us quickly. I don't think they can do it in like 2 seconds here, but what is Buffett's? I'm curious if you can do it. Average.
Okay, you do it and let me talk for a
Oxy
second.
From public filings.
Ooh, I would like to. I'm going to say.
It gives me an instantaneous answer. It's looking at public filings.
Okay, but
Buffett
don't tell me
under 60.
I just said, okay. Don't. Are you listening?
Okay. Well, it's not for sure. Go.
Because I wanted to get.
Guess.
You keep interrupting me. I'm going to tell Brent when he gets back. You were interrupting me. He won't be surprised. He started buying the finances Anadarko buy. So he started buying at like 80. He was buying way up here. He got stuck here. And then he was loading the boat here too. He bought a ton here. And then he was an endless buyer. Was it like 55 or 60? Remember, every time it came down there? Yeah. I would say his average price is right around $60. What does Gemini say?
So it's got many purchases occurred around 60. Significant buying in the 56 to 58 range in 2022 and later. Estimates are, and again, they don't know for sure, but they believe, so Gemini summed all this up, and they said somewhere between $53 and $55 a share is what they believe. Now, that may not be right because you're using filings, you're looking. There was also some purchases, some 2025 filings show purchases as low as $46.82. Yeah. So he brought the cost basis down in February 2025. Pretty cool. You can just go get that, go look at the filings and add it all up. So
did they say anything about the Anadarko? Because I know
it's between 50. They think it's around 53, $55.
Does it say anything about financing?
No, I could ask that further.
The Anadarko deal back in 2018. Does it say anything about?
We got 1 minute. You want me to ask an Anadarko deal? What about the Anadarko deal? Joel, digging.
Okay.
Digging hard on this one.
I stumped AI.
Buffett provided a $10 billion financing package that allowed Occidental to outbid Chevron for the acquisition of Anadarko. So it's got it in here. As part of the deal, Berkshire warrants to purchase 80 million shares at an exercise price of $62.50. So there was some stuff in there.
Okay.
Joel is he's like Gemini in himself. Tesla deliveries are out. Tesla deliveries are out. Tesla deliveries are out.
All right, let's see.
Of course they miss. Do they ever beat? This was the most consistent company at missing earnings or missing numbers. This company is so consistent at missing numbers. 358,023 versus estimates of 372,160. Of course Tesla misses. This is what they do. They always miss, but they always buy the dip on the damn stock, no matter what. So vehicles, not great. Numbers, not great. Reaction initially selling off a bit here, but not even bad because it's Tesla. And you know what? The cult just buys Tesla anyway. So I don't know, but it's an ugly market here. I like Joel's 351, but I don't think that's coming in.
I said 367 ahead of the
367.
yeah. It looks like it's going to be there pretty quickly. One rating today, Dennis. Who else covers Ollie's Bargain Outlook Holdings but the pre-market prep show? We got an upgrade in Ollie's. What do you think? What do you think?
Jeffries, upgrades, Ollie's. Let's go take a look and see if we get some color here. I mean, discount, you know, I like buying discount stores, especially if going into tougher times. People always like a bargain. Ollie's bargain. They're upgrading to buy, raising the price target up to $130. Ollie is the #1 in closeout at a moment when scale matters most. At 18 times PE, Ollie trades 7 times below, 5 below, despite similar unit growth and like on the multiple because 5 below is 25. Similar unit growth and a more needs-based sales mix. In addition, relative to lower growth value peers that have already re-rated on durability, Ollie's valuation looks compelling. We see 130 based on 25 times EPS of 2028 as share gains, deal flow, and unit growth drive a re-rating of the stock.
Buying the dip. I'll give this
guts. G for guts.
Yeah, I'll go back to the more basic rate. I'll give this an A. I like it. It's buying the dip. It's giving you a valuation. Is this being added to my portfolio today? No. But see what happens in Ollie's Bargain Basement. Okay, folks, this is a conclusion of what's been one heck of a week here on pre-market prep. It's been fun. I have it. Someone made a note that I have not been on mute yet this month, but I told them yes, but it's April 2nd, Dennis. So there's only 2 days. Tomorrow we have the day off for Good Friday. I hope everyone has a good Friday. And I hope not to be back until Wednesday, because if that means that Michigan wins on Saturday, I'm at the game, and look for me. I got some pretty good seats.
So Monday, and you're not going to get out of there till Tuesday because you're going to be partying all night after they win the championship. And like I said, if Michigan wins, I've got my pool locked up here. I just looked at it. I need a Michigan win, and I can win my pool as well here, Joel.
Okay.
Go blue. Go blue. Go blue.
Go blue. That's the best way to end the pre-market prep.